Hello viewers, welcome to English with BDM. In my last video, I discussed the two categories of intransitive verbs. Intransitive verbs of complete predication and intransitive verbs of incomplete predication. In the present video, I am going to discuss the different categories of transitive verbs. A transitive verb is one that takes a direct object, that is used with a direct object. Let us take this example. The child broke the toy. The child broke the toy. Now, obviously, the doer of the verb to break here is the child. But the child could not perform the action of breaking without the toy. If the child did not have the toy in its hand, it could not break the toy. So, the action directly falls on this toy. And therefore, it is called an object. It is a direct object. As the action of breaking directly falls on this object, the toy, it is called a direct object. And to complete the minimum length of the predicate with a verb of this category, that is a transitive verb, we must add the object. Otherwise, simply if we say the child broke, it will carry no sense at all. Most of the transitive verbs take one object each, just like this one. And this object is a direct object as the action of the verb directly falls on the object. The object is directly affected by the action of the verb. Therefore, a verb that requires one object is, the object is always a direct object. Now, there are some transitive verbs that take two objects each. And in that case, one object is the direct object and the other one is an indirect object. The man gave the beggar some food. The man gave the beggar some food. Now, the man could not perform the action of giving either without the beggar or without the food. The man needed both the beggar and the food to perform the act of giving. But how did he start the action? He first went to the food, took it up. So the action begins with some food. The action directly falls on the food. The action starts direct on the food. Therefore, some food here is a direct object. And then taking the food, the man definitely went to the beggar. So this beggar is the indirect object. The doer begins the action with the direct object and completes it to or for the indirect object. Now, let us talk about the first category of transitive verbs, and we will take up the second category later. In this sentence, we have 5 words. It's a very short group of words, but yet it expresses a clear and complete meaning. But without the object, the remaining words cannot express any meaning at all. Therefore, if we put the object here, and if the group as a whole can express a complete and clear meaning, the verb is a transitive verb of complete predication. It is a transitive verb because it requires an object. It is a verb of complete predication because it can complete the predicate if we place the object on its right-hand side in an active voice sentence. So verbs like this one are all verbs of transitive verbs of complete predication. And as it is a transitive verb and it has an object, we can use the verb in the passive voice too by using the object as the alternative subject of the sentence. The toy was broken by the boy. The natural and normal subject of a verb is its doer or agent because the doer performs the action of the verb. But sometimes we do not want to use the doer or we cannot make it the subject of the sentence for some obvious reasons. Then we use this alternative subject, that is the original object of the verb, as the subject of the sentence. The toy was broken by the boy. So these are verbs of transitive verbs of complete predication. I am giving a short list of such verbs. Attack, attack, allow, bit, bite, break, clean, buy, catch, clean, kill, start, wash, etc. We can make sentences both in the active voice and in the passive voice with verbs of this group. This is a very short list. There are so many other transitive verbs of complete predication. You can make sentences with all of them following these two patterns. Subject is the doer in the active voice and subject is the original object in the passive voice. But there are some transitive verbs that cannot complete the predicate only with the object. Say, for example, verbs of this category. Consider, consider, declare, find, live, make, prove, etc. They considered him unfit for the job. They considered him unfit for the job. Now, without the adjective unfit, the remaining words of the group cannot express the meaning that we want to express here. They considered him, cannot express any clear and complete meaning. So the word, the adjective unfit here is necessary. Whether we put this phrase here or not, we considered him unfit for the job. Now this word is called a complement. The word that we require, let us take another sentence. Example sentence. Doctors declared the man dead. The doctors declared the man dead. Now, simply if we say the doctors declared the man, it will carry no sense. So the meaning is complete only when we place this adjective here after the object. The man is obviously the object of the verb to declare in this sentence, but only with the object as we get here in this sentence. The child broke the toy. The sentence is complete when we put the object on the right-hand side of the verb in an active voice sentence, and when we use the object as the subject in a passive voice sentence. But transitive verbs of this category cannot complete the predicate only with the object. We need to use an adjective or a noun, whichever is appropriate, to complete the minimum length of the predicate and make a clear and complete statement about the subject that the whole group of words becomes a sentence. So this word is called a complement, and as it describes the object, the adjective dead here describes the object, the man, it is called an object complement. Now if we use the verb in the passive voice, the complement will become a subject complement, because then the object will become the subject. The man was declared dead by the doctors. The man was declared dead by the doctors. Now the original object, the man, is here the subject of the sentence in the passive voice, but the complement is always a part of the predicate. In the active voice sentence, it is an object complement because it describes the object here, but in the passive voice sentence, the complement did describe the subject because now the original object has become the subject of the sentence. This complement can also be a noun. People made Gopal king. People made Gopal king. Now, if we simply say people made Gopal, it will carry no sense at all. But when we put the word king here, it makes a complete and clear meaning. Now, this king is a word, it's a noun, but it does not refer to any distinct, separate individual. It refers back to Gopal, which is the object of the verb made. Therefore, this noun as a word, it's just a word. It does not mean any separate person. If we look at the person, we will see Gopal and people made him king. So the same person, the king here is Gopal. Therefore, the two nouns, the proper noun Gopal and the common noun king here refer to the same person, and that is Gopal. Therefore, king here is also a complement. Therefore, a complement can be an adjective like dead or unfit. It can also be a noun. When the complement is an adjective, it describes the noun, that is the original object, And when it is a noun, it refers back to the object. So it is here also an object complement. Now, if we change the voice, the object Gopal will become the subject. Gopal was made king. By people. The complement is always a part of the predicate. It is always put after the verb. In the active voice, it is placed after the object. And in the active voice sentence, as the object becomes the subject, the complement is placed immediately after the verb. Therefore, a complement, whether it is an adjective or a noun, is always placed after the verb, and it is always a part of the predicate. Now, there are some transitive verbs of incomplete predication that do not take adjective or noun as complements. Rather, peculiarly, they require some adverbs of place to complete the predicate. Now, traditionally, complements are either nouns or adjectives. Now, this adverb of place is not called a complement according to traditional grammar, but they function just like complements. Verbs like lay, live, put, keep, lead, etc. She laid the plate on the table. Or she laid the mat on the floor. She laid the mat on the floor. Now, if we simply say she laid the plate, it will not carry a clear meaning. Now, if we add this phrase, on the table is a phrase, and here it refers to the place of the occurrence of the action of laying. So, it is an adjunct. Such phrases that denote the place or the time, etc. of the action are called adjuncts. It may be a single word like here, there, etc. She laid the plate there. So such phrases are not actually complements like a noun or an adjective. An adjective as a complement describes the object, and a noun as a complement refers back to the object, but such phrases never describe the objects. They refer to the place of the occurrence of the action of the verb. But yet, without these phrases, such phrases, we cannot complete the predicate. We keep our car in the garage. We keep our car in the garage. Now, if we simply say we keep our car, it will carry no sense. If we add the phrase, the adjunct that denotes some place, the place of performing the act of keeping by the doer, we here in this case. So, such phrases are essential, are indispensable to complete the minimum length of the predicate, though they are neither adjectives no nouns. They function like adverbs here, but at the same time, they are essential to complete the minimum length of the predicate. Now let us go back to the verbs that take two objects each. At the very beginning of this section of the video, I want to make it clear that a transitive verb that requires two objects is always a transitive verb of complete predication. Now, let us take this short list. Award, feed, give, grant, hand, lend, offer, owe, pass, pay, promise, sell, send, show, teach, etc. Verbs of this group take two objects each. As I told you earlier, one is the direct object, usually a thing, an animal, etc., and the direct object is often a person. Let us take this verb first. The government awarded him a reward, awarded him an honor. The government awarded him an honor. First, the government decided on the honor which they would give to give to him, and then they handed the honor to him. Therefore, an honor here is the direct object and him is the indirect object. We can reverse the positions of the indirect object and the direct object. Usually, the indirect object is placed first after the verb and then the direct object. But we can reverse the positions of the two objects if we like to, but then we have to use a preposition before the indirect object. The government awarded an honor to him. The government awarded an honor to him. The mother fed the baby some milk. The mother fed the baby some milk. We can say the mother fed some milk to the baby. The preposition that we use with the indirect object when we place the direct object first is either to or for according to the meaning. In these verbs of this series and such other verbs, we use the preposition to, but there are some other verbs with which we use the preposition for. Verbs like bring, buy, cook, fetch, find, get, keep, live, make, order, reserve, save, etc. The verb to bring can be used either with the preposition to or for in this sense. Let us take this verb. The man bought his daughter a flat. The man bought his daughter a flat. Now, if we reverse the positions of the direct object and the indirect object, here we'll have to use the preposition for because the meaning demands so. The man bought a flat for his daughter. The man bought a flat, the direct object, a flat, and then the preposition for, and then the indirect object. Now, as these verbs are all transitive verbs, we can use them in the passive voice too. And in that case, we can use either the direct object or the indirect object as the subject of the sentence. For example, let us take this sentence. This is the indirect object. We can use it as the subject in the passive voice sentence. His daughter was bought. A flat. By the man. His daughter was bought a flat by the man. And when we use the indirect object as the subject in the passive voice sentence, we do not need to use any preposition before the direct object. Okay? When you use the indirect object as the subject in the sentence in the passive voice, we do not need to use any preposition with the direct object. But if we make this direct object the subject of the sentence in the passive voice, if we use this direct object as a subject in the passive voice sentence, we have to use the preposition either to if the verb belongs to this group or for if the verb belongs to this group. We will have to use the preposition to or for. A flat was bought. For his daughter. By the man. A flat was bought for his daughter by the man. If we drop the preposition for, it will not be acceptable as a sentence. A flat was bought his daughter by the man. That is all about grammar today. But one request, if you want to get timely notification of the latest videos, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. If you think the lessons are helpful to the young learners, please share them with them. Thank you.